G'day, Anders Sorman-Nilsson, Futurist and the founder of the global think tank Think, broadcasting today from the lovely Nusa Dua part of Bali, Indonesia, a tourist paradise in many ways. And the reason that I'm here today enjoying a little bit of rest and relaxation is that rest and relaxation came post a keynote on the future of travel, perhaps fittingly set here in the amazing 5-star resort that is the Grand Hyatt Nusa Dua. I've been working here with a global distribution system and all of their clients, from hoteliers to airlines to really forward-looking travel agencies, looking at digital disruption and how in this post-digital disruption society that we're about to enter into right now for the travel industry, how the travel industry is going to cope beyond online travel agencies, beyond digital disruption, beyond commoditization, and in an age where more and more people want to move from not just reviews on online, but rather getting some personal advice as to where they should go in the future. One of the metaphors I toyed with here a little bit is the idea, and perhaps this is why we're so fittingly sitting here on a beach today, the idea that when it comes to disruption, what every business leader needs to do, be it they in the travel industry or otherwise, is a little bit like wave spotting. So the first thing we need to start doing when we're spotting trends around the world is to just stop and observe what's going on in the water, like the water behind me here today. Secondly, if the water is safe to get into, you have to quickly kind of get a feel for the underlying currents around you. And thirdly, once you've had a feeling for the kind of big changes and the big drivers of the waves of change around you, finally what you need to do is decide how you're going to position yourself to safely get back to the shoreline. Now, from any keen beachgoer, you'll know that around you on the beaches, at least guarded beaches, there are these fantastic red flags to swim between, or in Australia, the yellow and red flags. These indicate where it's safe to swim and the places between which the sea is being monitored by lifeguards. Now, it's critical when you kind of find your feet in a new market that you kind of have some keen advisors around you. And when it came to the travel industry in yesterday's keynote, the major trends that we spoke about to help them safely get back to shore, as it were the following. Firstly, the idea that everything that can be digitized in the travel industry eventually will be digitized. This means that increasingly the consumer's rational mind is becoming digitized, and we're doing all of our due diligence digitally today and ongoingly so into the future. This means that companies need to learn about how to create premium content for which the consumer will pay a premium. The first level of digital disruption in the travel industry happened when online travel agencies started focusing the consumer's mind first and utmost on price. This has decommoditized the industry, and the way to take back market share will be to differentiate apples from apples or apples from oranges to ensure that brands can come alive in the future post-digital disruption era of the travel industry. The second thing we talked about at the keynote yesterday was the fact that the consumer's world is increasingly mobilizing, meaning that the user interfaces with which you interact need to be extremely personal, extremely relevant, and extremely tailored in a beautiful setting for an increasingly mobilized consumer whose mind has become digitized. Thirdly, though, and this is a bit of a counter trend, we heard about Watson, or I spoke about Watson from IBM, the supercomputer that is now into cognitive computing or contextual computing, meaning that increasingly the travel industry will become relevant to the end consumer. There's no point advising me on the best way to get a holiday from Sharm el Sheikh like some hotel websites do, when they should know that currently I'm in Bali. We need to become extremely contextual and relevant, both, yes, to the increasingly digitized mind of the consumer, but also to keep connecting with their enduringly analog hearts. Even the founder of Travelocity, Terry Jones, and the founder of kayak.com said that yes, reviews might be great, but sometimes we just need a little bit of personal advice, almost like a personal concierge who helps us with the place we want to go to. The key places to look for lessons for the travel industry are other content-driven industries where again we are getting back on the front foot and charging for premium content. The travel industry can really learn from players like Spotify, for example, that have moved us from consuming physical product in the music industries to then going to downloads via iTunes, and now going into a new paradigm where we're renting access to music via Spotify, creating playlists, read itineraries, following global thought leaders or globe trotters as they listen to certain types of music, read inspiration for great new trips, and they also recommend you great music based on your listening patterns and historical big data listening consumption behaviors. These are all ways in which Spotify is winning the digital minds, but also connecting with the analog hearts of today's and tomorrow's consumer. Another big digital disruption that we are seeing around the world too in the area of logistics and transport is Uber. I've spoken about Uber before, but what's fundamentally critical here is that when taxi drivers in black cabs in London are getting out en masse in London protesting against the incursion of Uber in London and the taking away of market share away from the London cabbies who have to do a 4-year degree in the knowledge. And now newbies or new entrants into this space are just using an app from Uber to connect with us consumers directly, cutting out the middleman and the professionals. Well, you've got a new disruption that we can all learn from. What Uber does, and what it does really, really well, is that it's contextual, it's mobile, and it creates digital trust immediately between the person being picked up and the driver in a rating system. Now, when an app can simply displace a centuries-old business model like the taxi industry or the transport industry before that with a horse and cart, well, we need to be on the watch out for new entrants all of the time. So again, the 3 things we spoke about: everything that can be digitized eventually will be digitized. Secondly, the fact that the consumer's world is increasingly becoming mobilized. And thirdly, that you need to provide informational value to your consumers' increasingly digitized minds, yes, but you also must keep connecting with their analog hearts. The founder of Travelocity and of Kayak, Terry Jones, yes, he wants reviews online, but he still craves the personal touch and the personal advice from a really good travel agent. And in fact, he still uses them. So when the founder of all of this digital disruption says that he still uses a real human being travel agent, well, maybe there's hope for every adaptive travel professional for the future to combine the analog with the digital and go digi-log in their digital leadership.